I'm going to show you how to make a paradigm shift away from the controller's miserable reality into a new, more beautiful reality for yourself. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I work with an interdimensional, interuniversal, and extraterrestrial force known as Telstar, along with Archangel Michael. The most important thing right now for so many of us on this planet is freedom. Now, the controllers are the people, the entities, and the alien extraterrestrials who have taken control of reality on this planet. And their version of reality is as ugly as they are. It is fraught with lies, with pain, and with suffering, because that is what they traffic in. They traffic in fear, in heartlessness, and in control, which is why I call them the controllers. Now, their reality is literally a paradigm of thought. It consists of beliefs that they must instill in our minds. But here's a very interesting little fact. Their reality paradigm is incredibly weak. In fact, it's actually quite fragile. It is so weak that they literally have to blanket the world with a massive technology called the internet and the media to make sure that their ridiculous reality is pumped into our minds 24/7. Because do you know what would happen if they stopped doing that? Their reality would be forgotten and it would probably collapse in a matter of days. So you want to know why it's so weak and fragile? It's because it is so unnatural and it's so anti-human that it is literally unsustainable on its own. And once we figure that out, that's good for us. So here's the truth about the controllers. They have no power of their own. They have to use our power to create the reality that they want. I mean, look at these politicians, for example. They're so pathetic and weak. Sometimes they remind me of little gremlins who lie all the time and just, scurry around looking for whatever financial scraps they can get from the big corporations for doing their bidding. So it's really important to understand that these controllers have no power without their giant global mind control machine. And you can actually be sure that everything they say is a lie, because if it was true, they wouldn't have to create entire industries devoted to pumping it into our heads all day long. They could tell us once or twice and then the truth would stand on its own. Because you see, truth is kind of like that. It doesn't require constant life support like a lie does. And that's what the media is. It's a massive life support system for all of the controllers' lies. So they install a massive deceptive paradigm into our minds about what life is. And then because it's in our heads, we believe it and think it's true. And then we act out all of the misery of this entirely fabricated reality. See, here's the thing. The controllers are not creators. They are parasites who have to deceptively use our energy in order to manifest what they want. That's because they have no connection to source energy and to the power of love that creates this entire universe. I mean, they have no connection to any of that. They are completely devoid of power, of any power whatsoever. All of their power comes from manipulation and lying, so it's not even their power. See, here's the thing. They wanted to be more powerful than God, more powerful than Source. So in order to do that, they had to not be Source, which ironically completely cut off their energy supply. And that's why they became parasitic. They had to get their energy from somewhere, and in our case, they're getting it from us. So being intimidated by their paradigm will trap you into believing that it's true. Now, it might be manifesting, but that doesn't mean it's true. See, we kind of confuse being real with being true, but that's not really the case. See, if a lie is believed, it will become real in a person's experience. But just the fact that it's a lie means it's not true, right? So let me share with you what the biggest lie is that the controllers tell us. They tell us that the nature of life is that they are in charge of us and that we must obey. But that is completely unnatural, which is why it's a lie. See, in order for something to be true, it must be perfectly aligned with the natural design of the universe and of who we really are. So being true and being real are actually two different things. You could say that being real means to be realized or to be brought into reality. So when a lie is brought into reality, when it actually manifests, then you could say it becomes real. But that doesn't mean that the lie is true. And it's really important that we make this distinction, otherwise we could remain hopelessly confused. For example, it's a very real thing that human beings on this earth experience duality. But that doesn't mean that duality is true. It's not the truth. And that's because duality was actually birthed from a lie. And the controllers were also birthed from a lie. They were birthed from a lie that they are not source energy. And by not being source, they believe it makes them more powerful than source. Why do you think it is that they always seem to be against God? It's because they want to be God, right? Which is, of course, a complete joke because they have no power. I mean, these guys are not always the brightest bulbs in the room, if you know what I mean. So now they want to shift us into a new, more modern paradigm of AI control. And so they're taking apart the old paradigm and creating a lot of chaos in the process. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some fighting going on among themselves behind the scenes. Let me give you an example of a kind of a flash I had. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's just something that popped into my mind the other day about this entire Afghanistan catastrophe. One possibility is that the reptilians are behind this whole thing. See, they feed on fear, terror, violence, and suffering. We don't really know because we can't see who's controlling things, who's pulling the strings behind all the surface picture on this planet. They could have been making some kind of deal that they want Afghanistan to be some sort of a center or food source for them. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but there's a lot of weird stuff going on behind the scenes on this planet, and you can kind of tell by what's manifesting on the surface, especially when it doesn't make any sense whatsoever when it comes to our own humanity. Especially when you see things like what's going on in that country that is so completely alien and inhuman. It's not crazy to wonder what's really going on behind the scenes because it is so entirely alien. And this is a really big transition that they're trying to create on this planet, going from the old paradigm to this new AI paradigm. And we don't even know what kind of demands these different alien groups or arguments they might be having among themselves, or, you know, what kind of fighting might be going on among themselves behind the scenes, because this is a big disruption for all of them as well. And that could explain a lot of the amazing chaos and insanity that we see unfolding more and more every day. There could be there could be some conflicts going on behind the scenes among these alien beings. But let's come back to our human situation. We need to uninstall the controller's paradigm from our minds. Even though we see it manifesting through the efforts of millions and millions and millions of people. Remember, just because it's real, just because it's been brought into reality through manifestation, does not mean that it is true. All it means is that so far the controllers have succeeded in using us to manifest it. So the main thing that we can do to free ourselves is to keep their paradigm out of our minds. And then from there, we just have to figure out how to navigate around it wherever we see it manifesting out here. See, that is our power, my friends, to be able to see them and see their paradigm for what it is, and then proceed to navigate around it. But at least when we're navigating around it, we are seeing it for what it is. We are seeing the reality and the truth of how fake it all really is. Doesn't mean it's not manifesting, doesn't mean it's not brought into reality out here, but there's a huge difference when you see it for what it is and you really get what is actually going on. That's how you let yourself out of their mental prison. The reason this is so important is because this is a prison that will not allow us to evolve. So here's what you can do instead of being their mental prisoner. You can align yourself with the only true paradigm, which is that of nature and human evolution. Because that paradigm is already built in to the natural design of this entire universe. And I don't even know if paradigm is the right word. It might actually be too limited, but probably the best word in terms of our language for right now. So our number one focus needs to be to free ourselves from the controller's fake reality, fake paradigm, so that we then enter into the natural universe where we will have unlimited freedom to evolve. Because the whole idea is we want to evolve back into the creators that we are meant to be. So you can actually make evolution your number one mandate in this lifetime, because that is what will align you with the most powerful forces of light and love in this universe. And here's the wonderful thing about evolution. It is a very powerful and very beautiful process. Now, under the circumstances here on Earth, it can be very difficult, but it's always rewarding, and it is definitely always empowering. Because the more you evolve, the more you feel a sense of command, the more you feel a sense of coming back to who you really are again, the more you feel a sense of coming back to your unlimited center of intelligence. And that is so much better than sentencing yourself to the controller's fake paradigm of life being all about their controlling AI prison. So the absolute first step in evolution is to restore sovereignty over your own mind. Don't feed yourself a daily dose of their mental poison. All of the thoughts that they feed us are toxic and highly poisonous. So don't let those toxic thoughts become your thoughts as well. You can start by turning off their spigot of fear that is the media. You can observe it, but you don't want to drink from it. Drinking from the media is like drinking a poison that will make you feel instantly crazy, frightened, anxious, and confused. You see how simple that is? Don't drink from it and you're going to feel so much better. Also remember that there's a whole lot of other people drinking from that poison, and they might want to share some of that poison with you. So be aware of that as well. Now, there are 3 things that I recommend you do to begin restoring your sovereignty so that you can evolve. One is to meditate every single day, and preferably in the morning. Because in the morning is when your mind is the most clear, especially the sooner you can meditate after you get up. That's the best time in the whole day. And if you need any help with meditation, you can check out my digital meditation course, which is specifically designed for spiritual awakening and ascension. And I'll link that information in the description below. Now, the second thing you want to do is to fill your mind with thoughts, with memories, and creative ideas that raise your vibration, that inspire you, and that make you feel good. Come up with some positive, fulfilling, and realistic goals for yourself. Now, I suggest that you develop a journaling practice to instill those thoughts and creative ideas into your mind. And this is actually can be a lot more powerful than just using things like affirmations, because in the process of journaling, you're actually creating the vibration of all of those wonderful things in your whole body, in your mind, and in your emotions. So journaling can be very, very powerful as a way to restore your sovereignty and restore yourself as a creator. Now, the third thing to focus on is to take very good care of your health. It doesn't have to be very complicated. It's really just as simple as getting adequate sleep, good nutrition, exercise, sunshine, fresh air. In a way, we're very similar to plants, really. Plants, we know what they need to thrive. And these are the simple, natural things that we as human beings need to thrive. If you think about how people who really grow beautiful plants nurture those plants by giving those plants those simple elements that they need, along with a lot of love. We can do the same thing for ourselves as human beings. We can give ourselves the sleep, the nutrition, the exercise, the sunshine, the fresh air, and love. And when we give ourselves just those beautiful, simple things, we too will thrive. So these 3 things will get you centered and they'll get you started so you can embark on a serious path of personal evolution. Meditation to get you consciously centered with your true being and with who you really are, filling your mind with all sorts of creative thoughts, inspirations, even memories to raise your vibration and begin to function as a creator in your life, and taking good care of your health, because this physical body is a sacred space within which you function on this beautiful earth. And then you want to be the observer of the controller's crazy paradigm. And wherever you see it manifesting, just find creative ways to navigate around it. But don't let it absorb your consciousness and take you down. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. And if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it out with anyone else who you think would find this beneficial. And be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I am here every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday with all new videos. And with that, I'm sending you so much love, light, and high vibrational energy. And I so look forward to seeing you in the next video. Namaste.